Hi, everybody. This is Brad. Welcome back to the series of alternatives to cables. The previous three videos focused on the three free choices, and this video will focus on the two monthly subscription costs. I was originally going to do each one of these individually, but they're pretty much the same, and the only thing that differs is whether you can watch live TV or not. Next week we will have the hardware, or next episode we will have the hardware. So let us start to go into this. Oops. All right, so the most famous and probably first streaming service was Netflix. They have agreements with most stations to show the complete seasons up to the previous season of the current show. So that means if the show is still on and being creating new episodes, they're not going to get that season until the next season starts. For shows that are over, they have the complete series or nothing. They're constantly changing, though, because they have to enter into agreements with the studios that produce the TV shows and movies. And so every month it's a rotating list of shows that drop off and they add new shows and movies. They have really started to ramp up their original programming, and I believe they want to have 50% original programming by, I want to say 2025, I think, something like that. They have a pretty good selection. The movies aren't fantastic. And you can see any kind here. And if you have new episodes, it'll show you the new episodes. And if I click play, you can see it goes to the episode, and you can see a very similar kind of player as we saw with the network channels or the cable channels, all that kind of stuff. You can still drag, you can pause. Here's your volume control. These are your closed captions. There's full screen, out of full screen. One thing that's different here is you can see you can jump between the episodes in the episode, which is something that most of the network stations do not have. I can go back to season 1 and play from there. So it's pretty simple. You just have to, I would say, look at what is there and see if it's for you. As far as pricing goes, so this is actually a pretty good one. Because you can actually get away with this option without even having the internet connection. So you can see I only have streaming, but I can add a DVD plan. So that means this was how it originally was, where you can check out 2 discs at a time for $12. You can have both if you like. I have my streaming plan here, so that's what it costs a month. So it's fairly affordable, all things considered. As we get on to other ones, you will see how that is. One thing you can do here is you can create different profiles, and that means that different profiles can have different lists. So you can see my wife and I have our own profiles. So that's Netflix. And that's the only one I have a subscription on, so I will just mention the other ones. Amazon has their Amazon Prime, and that Prime is the same as getting the free 2-day shipping, but you also get access to the movies and TV shows that they have. They also have the original programming. They're also having to make agreements with the TV show and movie studios, and they're constantly dropping and adding. So it's the same basic thing, just a different choice. Hulu is a good one to transition from. So Hulu, you have the traditional Netflix, Amazon Prime on demand, but not watching live TV. But they also have now a live TV offering. So you can see they have the same thing. They have originals and they have other movies and TV shows that they have agreements with. This is really the first option that we're talking about that has sports. So you can check that out. The first live TV around was something called Sling TV, and $25 a month you can watch live TV and hear your shows. for these plans just give you different TV packages for different channels like cable does. And obviously the more you pay, the more channels you get. One thing that this doesn't have, it has sports, but it does not have NESN. For NESN, you would have to go to something like YouTube TV. You can see it getting kind of pricey here, so it's $40 a month plus your internet connection. But this does have NESN, so that means that if you're a Boston sports fan, Bruins and Red Sox, and you want to get rid of cable, this would be the option that you would want. The last option is something called the PlayStation Vue. So this is the PlayStation gaming console, and that also has NESN. And you can see that it's getting even pricier. They have a lot more channels, but again, each one of these options has to make the agreement with each of the TV show the stations. And this is live TV, so you can see this one's interesting, right? So it's showing you all the possible channels that you would have, but the low end does not have these grayed out ones. And so you can see that the higher you go, the more channels you get. This one has movie channels, independent film channels, stuff like that. So that is it as far as live and on-demand, non-live streaming stations. If these are interest to you, then just check out. I would go to each one of them and check out what channels they have, and see if those channels have the shows you want to watch. All right, so that's it for this week. If you have any questions, please comment below, or you can get in touch with me at bmckenna@wombelibrary.org, or you can just call the library. I'm usually here. Okay, thanks. Bye.